Hydrofoils are mesmerizing. I've been able to experience the efficiency and surrealness of flying over the water firsthand in the past, and there is simply nothing like it. There's just one problem with these precisely tuned, high-strength and durability sailboats, or massive engine-powered hydrofoils. They are extremely expensive. Regardless, I find them super interesting, so I figured I'd attempt to make one from scratch. Alright, so the design of this boat will need to be cheap. I can make the hull out of some pink insulation foam and design precise yet inexpensive foils with my 3D printer. For a source of power, the boat will have an RC plane propeller, like an airboat. I've seen videos of people creating RC hydrofoils where the foils are programmed to autonomously control the boat's ride height. But my goals are cost and simplicity, so this was definitely off the table. Also, I have no idea how to do that. To avoid having to do that, I'll have to make a self-stabilizing foil. Basically, this is a foil that has angles or a hoop, which is designed so that the amount of foil that is submerged underwater will determine the amount of lift. When more of the foil is underwater, it generates more lift, but once the foil has risen far enough out of the water that the lift it is producing is less than that of the force of gravity acting on the boat, it will submerge deeper into the water. This creates an inherently stable lifting body that will vary in ride height depending on speed. The only other thing that I wanted to figure out was a way to change the general angle of attack of the foils so that the boat could be tuned after testing. After some thinking, a worm gear was the most logical solution. It can be precisely adjusted and can't spin freely by itself. I avoided trying to make this gear box from scratch by finding a perfected design on Thingiverse, and just adapted my foils to fit into it. With all that covered, I'm gonna wrap up the build and then go for this thing's first run. Here you can see me starting to adjust what I think the right angle of attack for the foils might be. At this point I'm very skeptical as to whether this is going to work or not, so I think that my reaction is justified.
Oh, it actually works! Oh my god! I did not see that coming! Holy shit! Because that worked surprisingly well, I'm gonna decrease the pitch of the foils so that I can hopefully go a little bit faster. So before it was like here, and now I'm gonna bring it to like here. Actually, I'm gonna change the one on the back too. Just as things were going well, of course.
Despite my initial rudder design clearly being very weak, the hydrofoil performed far better than expected. Now I need to figure out a way to make the whole rudder assembly stronger. The rudder works by pivoting around its leading edge under the control of a servo. The pitch and lift of the foil is determined by the preset angle of attack, which I designed to be held in place by a bolt that could be tightened onto a point along its circular path. The things I will change to make the rudder stronger are the print orientation, as this is the reason why the first one broke. I will print the rudder in multiple parts to optimize this. I will also print the rudder mount with a smaller range of motion for the pitch adjustment, because it was unnecessary to have that much adjustment and it was just a weak point as well. With that fixed, it's time to mess around with this thing a bit and see what it can do. boat's massive foils allow it to glide super smoothly over the water. The hoop foils can also clearly be seen self-adjusting the lift it is producing by how high it rises out of the water. Changing speed also changes how high it goes, and it's mesmerizing to watch how the water moves over the foils. I'm adjusting the foils to make less lift force by changing their angle of attack so that I could go a little bit faster here. What happened was the propeller kept hitting the control rod, which eventually knocked the control horn off of the servo, causing me to lose steering control of the boat. I couldn't have been more lucky that this happened close to shore and not far out in the lake, as the water is freezing cold during December. Anyways, this is an easy design flaw to fix, but it was getting dark, and in the end, I had proven my concept and met my goals of designing a cheap and simplistic hydrofoil from scratch. This project was pretty epic, and if anyone has any ideas for what I should do with this thing in the future, then leave a comment. Thanks for watching.